And Dakota also for cross. Starting on Thursday, I'm bringing my Nerf gun, and if I hear the word and.
I do ants, really?
At the beginning, then I kind of tapered off. But, and be careful with those do or did questions. Especially when you get, because you have a bunch of them in a row.
But I'm going to be able to train this witness, I feel like, so
Yeah.
he's going to be able to. Okay, but is it too risky to ask, if the hospital were to ask you your age, what would you have told them? I just added that in laterally as Brett was telling him
Yeah.
on some, or
I mean, I
don't
think
know.
as long as you train your witness to give whatever answer it
I
is
would
that
have
you
lied.
I think that's fine. Because I think, doesn't he say that in the deposition? No.
It wasn't asked it though in the deposition.
I know, just South Texas is a little bit more, like if somebody objected to that question, I don't know.
It's a hypothetical.
But it's just you have to be able to point to the spot in the packet where your information comes from.
I wasn't asked the question.
Maybe you could respond, you can kind of say the response to be, I would do whatever it takes to make sure this kidney, make sure Taylor got my kidney.
Oh, you can point to that.
Yeah.
Someone is outside the packet, what do you say when you object?
I mean, a lot of
If
stuff.
you don't object during the trial, you will wait till the end. At that point, you can confer with me and Brett. And basically before the judges like do their final tally, and I'm sure Brett and I will write down stars. Somebody does something outside the packet, and what you do is at the end, you would confer with the other team and either work it out or you have to bring it to the judge's attention, and then they can get either deducted points, automatic. If they automatically really like if they really go outside, they can get kicked out of competition. But I don't think that ever actually happens.
I mean, because it's hard because like my whole Skinner thing is outside my deposition or outside my expert report. I can't point to a lot of the stuff I said.
It's all about reasonable differences.
Hey,
And as long as it's kind of close enough.
Well, the GFR fluctuation thing is
Oh.
just
fine.
from
I have a
research
number. It's
of
fine.
the
He's gonna use it in his
disease.
closing, but
It's fine. No, all I'm gonna point to is that number.
Because we can forego you writing things on the board at this point if you want to. Because I mean, you're going to be the one that writes it. So I'm just going to ask you to come down and write the numbers that are in that.
We'll do that later in the week.
We can forego that. That's fine. But we are going to bring that back.
And then to code for your cross, and I know somebody else said this too when they started, they asked me to proceed, go with May it please the court.
Really? I've always been told by judges, may it proceed, not may it please the courts only for formal arguments or statements. It's may I proceed for direct.
Generally, if,
Or may
as long
I
as like,
inquire.
as long as somebody's like, if the judge is like ready to go, you don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
And technically, may it please the court is actually like a greeting, like,
Yeah.
good afternoon or good evening. But basically nobody actually knows that. I've only heard that from Judge Shed. I guess you can go either way, but generally it's
Okay.
And then I know like tonight, we're just kind of learning memorization, stuff like that, but if for some reason you ever need to go back to the table or do anything, one, don't apologize. But it's, I beg the court's indulgence.
Okay.
Go back and do whatever you need to do.
That's for everyone, that y'all just need to go back to a couple of things tonight, just.
I've also been told not, I beg, it's just court indulgence. You don't want to beg for court indulgence, you just ask.
It's not professional ways to do it. Friday, make a course indulgence.
Yeah, I've always done.
It's.
But I mean, it's like, you're not actually asking, you're just doing it.
Doing it, that's why they always say drop the bag, I don't know why you're begging me for anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just slow down a little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
check.
Dakota, you gotta be quick. He said that, when it says something about the family, you just gotta jump up and object to that.
But on what grounds?
He's 4 to 3.
At the same time, I feel like you can, if he does something, like, I mean, that's kind of like a bratty kid response almost. So I feel like they can almost work in their favor. Because little kid.
I guess.
What are you talking about when you said what?
And these they're helicopter parents.
Oh.
Dad's a pansy.
Yeah, I can't see. I'm not gonna instruct my witness to say that.
I mean, I just don't.
I got you.
Yeah. Amanda, when you were talking about the kid, you can't remember the precise wording, but like that whole transition and line of questioning, you seem really like not flimsy, but odd the way you phrased everything to me.
What part, sorry, I missed the
I
beginning.
can't remember what the exact questions were, so we were all trying to listen. But it was when you were asking about, you were asking about how Reese found out about Taylor having the disease and how, he decided to give her his kidney.
Yeah, those aren't my usual questions,
Okay,
but
I
they
see.
usually say in the first answer, oh, she's who I donated my kidney to.
Okay.
But I had to like kind of pull it out of him a little bit.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. Yeah.
Hopefully when we do witness preps, some of that won't occur. Because we
Okay.
get 15-minute witness prep, right?
We have a
You
whole
get it
day.
like a day in advance.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah, so
Reese is so short, it's gonna be like,
Yeah, so basically, the day that we'll fly in, or even the night before, it was what, Tuesday night last year?
Yeah.
They go ahead and email us and give us the name of the witness, their link, and their contact info, so you can go ahead and I
email
before
them,
and send all your stuff in.
Yeah, we met with. I have a question on that, Mark, but you have a long time to meet with them.
So it's basically the equivalent of having one go.
I can't remember if she came to our hotel or not.
I think she did.
Brett said they took the witnesses out to dinner and everything.
We did
Brett's
not.
paying for it.
Brett's lying.
Brett lied about that. He might have taken them to another competition, but not.
Brett just took up on himself.
Oh, no, he did, 'cause Mark and I just stood at the hotel room, and I think they went out and get like coffee or something. So yeah, that's actually great. But it's like last time, we get one, and both sides have to share. So you have to, prep her to be Reese and prep her to be Mr. Lansing. Or-
Prep. And
She has,
so we definitely have Reese as a boy then, because they'll be the same.
I mean, ours is a girl, I'm just saying like,
Well, we requested to have Harry, so we requested a boy.
yeah.
So we'll have, super. I want
That's
Reese to be a
awesome.
boy, because I practiced with keys.
And for Dakota, make sure you triangulate yourself towards the jury some.
Okay.
Instead of facing the witness head on. And when you you said, technically you're still a minor, you say under the law,
Under the
you're
law.
still a minor. It's not really a technicality.
Yeah. Good point.
You had good hand usage, I like that. The moving and going back and forth. And I had a really good line of questions, but it got way too, argumentative, so don't worry about it. So I don't want you to go.
Okay. Defense may proceed with their next witness.
Your Honor, at this time, the defense calls Dr. Sloan Sabbath. Dr. Sabbath, will you introduce yourself to the court today?
my name is Dr. Sloan Sabbath.
And Dr. Sabbath, what is your educational background?
I received my bachelor's degree from the University of Idaho in 2000, and my medical degree from the University of Kentucky in 2005.
And what kind of internships have you done?
I did in 2005, did an internship in pediatrics, at Alston Memorial.
What kind of residencies have you done?
I've done two. The first one I did for 6 months at the same hospital. That was in pediatrics. And the second one I did for about 2 years at University of Utah Medical School. And that was in pediatric nephrology.
Just for clarification, what is nephrology?
Nephrology is basically the study of kidney function and kidneys, both abnormal and normal.
Dr. Sabbath, what kinds of professional organizations are you a member of?
I'm a member of the American Life Care Planners Association, the American Association of Pediatric Nephrology, the American Society of Nephrology, and the International Society of Nephrology.
What kind of board certifications or specialties do you currently hold?
I was certified as a specialist in pediatrics in 2011, and then I was certified in the subspecialty of pediatric nephrology in 2012.
Dr. Sabbath, what, if any, other positions, teaching positions, or posts have you held based on your academic credentials and specialized knowledge?
Well, previously I was a visiting professor at La Blanca University School of Medicine in Guatemala. I taught pediatrics there, and currently I'm a associate professor of pediatrics at the University of Utah Medical Center.
Your Honor, at this time I'm showing plaintiff's counsel what is marked as Exhibit W1 for identification purposes. May I approach, Your Honor? Dr. Sabbath, if you could, what is this document?
This is my resume.
And is it an accurate depiction of your current resume?
I would say so.
And is it substantially the same as the last time that you have seen your resume?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, pursuant to stipulation 13, defense counsel would like to have this entered into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Your Honor, permission to publish to the jury?
Okay.
Dr. Sabbath, turning your attention to the present case, how are you involved with the case involving Reese Lansing?
I was hired by counsel for the defense to prepare a life care plan and also to examine and critique Dr. Charlie Skinner's life care plan.
And have you, in fact, reviewed that life care plan?
Which one?
Dr. Skinner's.
Yes, I have.
And what else did you rely upon?
Well, first of all, my extensive knowledge, training in the field of nephrology and in life care planning. And I also used medical records from both hospitals and Drs. McAvoy and McHale. The various depositions taken in this case, Reese's blood work, Reese's medical records, interviews with Reese, interviews with Harry and Leona Lansing, among other various professional medical digest journals and pamphlets.
What specifically, in regards to outside sources, have you used in this case?
I used the 2014 United States Renal Data Systems Annual Reports and a patient manual called Living with a Kidney Disease.
Your Honor, I'm retrieving from the clerk's desk what is marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit R8, which has already been entered into evidence at this time. May I approach the witness again, Your Honor?
You may.
Dr. Sabbath, what is that document?
This is a life care plan that Dr. Charlie Skinner prepared.
And is that a fair and accurate representation of the plan you know to be the one created
Yes.
by Dr. Skinner?
Yes, it is.
Dr. Sabbath, have you formed an opinion in this case?
I have, yes.
And is that opinion based on sufficient facts and data?
It is, yes.
Is your opinion based on approved methods and methodology?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, at this time, pursuant to stipulations 11, 14, and 15, we ask that Dr. Sabbath be entered in as an expert in the fields of nephrology as well as life care planning.
Any objection?
I would object just to ask him to clarify what the opinion, Dr. Sabb's opinion relates to. I'm the one crossing Dr. Sabb, so what is Dr. Sabb's opinion related to? What is it relevant as to? That would be my objection. He's laid proper foundation for him being considered an expert, but I would wonder what basis his opinion had.
Didn't you just say it? Pamphlets and.
Yes, but I'm talking like, is it a nephrology opinion? Is it a life care opinion?
It has to
It
do
could
with
be
both.
either. Could be
And
either.
they've laid,
Okay.
that's why we're asking.
Okay, well, that would be my objection. So, just
I will.
Thank you, Your Honor. Court's indulgence. Dr. Sabbath, let's go to kind of present day and age. What is Reese Lansing's present state of health?
currently, he's perfectly healthy, not symptomatic. He's healed nicely from his kidney donation.
How do you know that?
Besides looking at him,
Yes.
I reviewed his most recent blood workups and found that his levels and rates as far as kidney function have normalized.
And, pardon me, Your Honor, I'm showing plaintiff's counsel was marked as Exhibit Q1 for identification purposes. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Dr. Sabbath, what is that document?
These are blood test results for Reese Lansing.
And is that an accurate representation of the blood test that you know from Reese Lansing?
It's an accurate representation of his most recent one, yes.
And when you were talking about, or when you just testified that his values are normal, what values do you look at?
I look at GFR, which is glomerular filtration rate. I'll also look at creatinine levels and cholesterol levels.
So when you say his numbers are normal, what do you mean with regards to those values?
Well, as far as GFR goes, normal is considered to be a range between 90 and 100. So 100 means that the kidneys are functioning at their maximum capacity. But like I said, the acceptable normal values are anywhere between 90 and 100. Currently, Reese's most recent blood test results show that his GFR is 90 currently.
What about his creatinine levels?
Well, creatinine, first of all, is a waste product that is removed and filtered out by the kidneys. An ideal creatinine level is anything less than, or anything between 0.5 and 1.4 milligrams per deciliter. In Reese's most recent blood test, he showed perfectly healthy, perfectly normal level of creatinine, which is a 1.1 milligrams per deciliter.
And let's go on to cholesterol. What are normal or healthy levels for cholesterol?
Anything below 200 is considered healthy, and Reese's most recent measure was at 180.
And when was the most recent blood test done?
On August 16, 2015.
In regards to his kidney transplant, how proximate were those? Was that blood test done?
Let's see, August, September, October, 3 months before.
Your Honor, at this point in time, we ask that the blood test results marked as Exhibit Q1 be admitted into evidence.
Any objection?
No.
So entered.
Your Honor, may we publish to the jury?
You may.
Dr. Sabbath, the life care plan that Dr. Skinner has created that you've been asked to critique and examine, what dates does that use for blood work?
Dr. Skinner seems to rely very heavily on the blood work done in 1999 and 2011.
In your opinion, do you believe that to be an accurate representation of Reese's current state of health?
No, not his current state of health, no.
Do you believe that to be an accurate representation of what he may need in terms of a life care plan?
No, I think that Dr. Skinner fails to account for the fact that all of Reese's values are normalized, and he prepared his life care report to fulfill a need for the plaintiffs rather than focusing on the facts.
Dr. Sabbath, if you were to create a life care plan, what blood test results would you use?
I would have used the most recent, the ones that I just read for the jury,
And why is that?
because they're the most accurate representation of Reese's current state of health, and they're the most indicative of future health.
What do his current blood results indicate as to his health state?
His health state currently is that he's perfectly healthy. As far as his future health goes, they indicate to me that he will never contract PKD nor ever manifest signs or symptoms of disease.
Dr. Sabbath, let's go to the life care plan in question.
Okay.
And do you feel that the life care plan, assuming that Reese becomes symptomatic of PKD, do you feel that that life care plan is accurate?
I don't think that it is accurate in some respects. In some respects it is, but not in all respects, no.
Your Honor, at this point in time, we've prepared a demonstrative that we'd like to set up in the courtroom
Okay.
of the life care plan, that has already been admitted into evidence.
Okay.
Well,
Very choice of jury.
and if we had a blank whiteboard, we would be asking that Dr. Sabbath be allowed to come down and write on said whiteboard, but having none, we will ask him So, Dr. Sabbath, you said that there are some inaccuracies with that life care plan. Let's address this sort of, I guess, section by section. In regards to nephrology, how accurate are those values?
Well, first of all, we're assuming that Reese does become symptomatic with PKD. Assuming that his health deteriorates, and the nephrology visits you asked for, the price for these visits is reasonable. But the frequency to which Dr. Skinner suggests that Reese will have to see the nephrologist is completely off. Instead of 5 times a year, rather be twice a year.
Dr. Sabbath, how will that affect the value for nephrology visits in a life care plan for Reese Lansing?
It brings it out to be about $23,400. Not about. It brings it out to be $23,479, and we can just round it up to $23,500.
Let's move on to blood work analysis.
Okay.
Is that value accurate?
The costs set out for that are incorrect. Instead of the $865 a year, which is just absurd, it's going to be closer to $400 a year for blood work, which brings the cost to over his lifetime about $18,000.
Let's move on to dialysis.
Okay.
How accurate is the dialysis value?
Well, Dr. Skinner incorrectly assumes that Reese will be on dialysis for 5 to 7 years before receiving a new kidney. In my experience, organ donors enjoy a far shorter waiting time on the transplant list. So instead of the 5 to 7 years that Dr. Skinner suggests, Reese can expect to wait at the most 6 months for a new kidney. Which, however, Dr. Skinner's cost per treatment, $1,259 per treatment. While that's probably on the very high end, the very most expensive places, it's still probably an accurate representation of getting dialysis at those places.
So, what would be the appropriate value for dialysis treatment for someone like Reese awaiting a kidney transplant?
So the yearly cost, assuming everything else is correct, is about at the most $100,000. And so cutting that in half because Reese will only be on dialysis for 6 months, we come to a value of about $50,000.
Moving on down the life care plan to the major surgical procedures, how accurate is the kidney transplant value that Dr. Skinner's created?
Well, the cost that he has there is for the cost of the operation without insurance, which is an accurate representation of the without insurance cost. However, Reese does have health insurance, and so the correct value to Reese should be $120,000.
Let's move to the vascular access for the dialysis surgery. How accurate is that value?
Objection, sorry, I'm a little delayed, but I didn't know what my objection was gonna be. When he says insurance, I mean, was the whole thing about our trial brief. I don't know if it's improper opinion or speculation or what kind of objection you'd make, but I'm sure people are gonna start making that objection since that was the focus of our trial brief.
Yeah, and especially depending on what side they were
Yeah.
assigned.
So I guess objection, speculation, like or, I don't know,
Will have insurance in the future.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
I'll say that was something I think I texted Brett about, because I think I remember last time he did this.
What if instead of insurance, he just says similar situated individual?
We'll just say it's wrong.
Yeah.
We'll just say it's wrong.
No,
Okay.
we'll only call that.
But here's the thing though, this says without insurance. The life care plan that he brings into, or the life care plan that the plaintiff brings in addresses whether or not it has insurance in the first place. Therefore, because they make insurance part of their calculation, we should be able to counter it with an insured value as Reese is insured
But
currently.
That's the whole argument of the trial brief, is that everything should be calculated without insurance because nobody is guaranteed insurance, and at the later time there will be, that's one of our things we have to talk about pre-trial, is motioning for a collateral damages hearing after the fact, since insurance may be a factor in this case.
I'm just gonna break Brett the text, and this will be part of your discussion for tomorrow. Because otherwise I feel like it's gonna leave me this
Yeah,
time.
I mean, we could just say it's wrong and have it not say anything about insurance. And just say
I just know it's gonna, that,
100.
I didn't know what to object to, but I was like,
And
somebody's going to.
And And also, because his critique, at the end of this, we're gonna ask that his critique gets put in, his critique says insurance, so whatever, he doesn't have to say it, you can just say it's wrong, it should be $120,000. And if they wanna know why,
I'll say
they
that.
look at it as a thing.
I'll say that.
So, I mean, you can just say it's wrong, and I'll ask people, what is the appropriate value? Just say 120 or $140,000, whatever it is.
That value's wrong, it should be $120,000.
And then we're entering your plan at the end. I know that's not in there, but that value's right, that's the one I
The
told
port
you.
surgery?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
The
just-
port surgery is fine. It's spot on.
Let's move on to the medication.
Okay.
How accurate is the anti-rejection medication?
Well, Dr. Skinner's figure is accurate for the 5 to 7 year time for Dr. Skinner correctly applies the anti-rejection figures to the 5 to 7 year dialysis figures. However, since Reese will get a kidney far sooner than Dr. Skinner suggests, he will be on anti-rejection medication far longer, for about 43.8 years.
So, how will that affect the value for anti-rejection medication?
The cost will actually increase to $744,600.
Turning to the home care portion of the life care plan, how accurate is the skilled nursing requirement in home health care that Dr. Skinner has set forth?
It's not. Reese will not require any in-home health care. All of the transactions, transplant, dialysis, all that work is done in hospitals. Reese will not participate in that at home. So that value figure should be entirely straight.
So just to clarify, your opinion is that this value should be zero.
That's correct, yes.
And finally, let's move.
Objection meeting. That was really late. It's the same. Commissioner Grace.
I don't even have to ask anymore, he's already said it. Let's move down to the miscellaneous portion of it. How accurate is the value for dietitians and dietitian visits?
It's not. The frequency at which Dr. Skinner suggests that Reese will need to see a dietitian is really far overstated. Reese will need to see a dietitian once a year for 5 years, and then once every 5 years after that. And so instead of the cost per visit is accurate, but instead of the cost that Dr. Skinner suggests over $24,000, really the cost should be about $3,640, which we can round up to $4,000.
Based on all of your changes to the life care plan, what is an accurate value for a life care plan for Reese Lansing, assuming he does get PKD?
At the most, Reese should expect to feel an impact of $963,700. That's rounding up, and that's the most expensive everything's.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'm showing plaintiff's counsel wants marked as Exhibit V1 for identification purposes.
Just V1 or V in its entirety?
It should be just, oh, sorry, Exhibit V in its entirety. May I approach you?
You may.
Dr. Skinner, or Sabbath, pardon me. What is that document?
This is the life care, the critique that I prepared for this case.
Is it an accurate representation of your life care plan as you know it?
It's got my signature right here.
Your Honor, at this point in time, defense counsel asks that this be entered in as Exhibit V pursuant to stipulation 13.
Any objection?
Us talking about insurance, but we'll discuss that.
Okay, so enter.
Permission to publish to the jury, Your Honor?
Yep.
Dr. Sabbath, just a couple more questions. How much work will Reese Lansing miss if he does get PKD?
No, at least
Objection, improper opinion.
What was the question?
How much work will Reese Lansing miss?
We've already clarified that this is an expert in nephrology and life care planning. In no way, shape has he laid any background information about knowledge or experience or training in deciding whether work will be affected by this disease or how.
Response?
Your Honor, as this is an expert in nephrology and life care planning, this expert also relied upon information from an economist, as well as the other information that the plaintiff's counsel relied upon in making his life care plan, and therefore he would have had appropriate, adequate information to know whether or not this individual would miss work. Furthermore, he's testifying as to whether or not, in his medical opinion, that based on the symptoms and the long-term prognosis of this disease, whether or not Reese Lansing would hypothetically miss any work because of those symptoms.
He can connect it to any medical background. I would ask for that limiting instruction, but he can't simply be a conduit to hearsay and speak for the economist. He would have to connect it to his expertise.
Your Honor, if I may, it's no conduit to hearsay. He's testifying as to his medical opinion, which he is qualified to testify to as an expert in nephrology, which is a medical field, as to whether or not that disease would be so debilitating that Reese Lansing would miss any work.
I tend to agree, the objection is overruled, but it is limited, his testimony needs to be limited only to the amount of work he would miss based off of a medical opinion, not to values of lost wages or things like that.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Sabbath, from this disease, how much work will Reese Lansing miss?
Well, first of all, I don't think Reese will contract the disease at all, so he won't miss any work. But assuming that he does become symptomatic, Reese is expected to attend medical school and receive copious amounts of training and education. And so therefore, I believe that he will not be affected in any way, even if he does become symptomatic, because he will ultimately find something to do.
Dr. Sabbath, actually, no further questions. Permission to preserve our things for later debauchery.
Cross examination?
Briefly, Your Honor. Dr. Sabbath, you can't be certain that Reese will ever become symptomatic with PKD, can you?
No, I cannot be certain that he will not or will.
It's just that his genetic mutation makes him more likely, right?
That's correct.
His biological mother died from the disease, didn't she?
I believe so. That's to the best of my knowledge, yes.
Objection, Your Honor. His biological mother died with the disease. We do not know her cause of death.
What's your objection?
Whatever.
I'd like to test, objection,
he
I'd like
didn't-
to testify.
He didn't die of cancer, he died of tumors growing on his brain.
Yeah, I guess that's speculation.
He didn't die
It's
of
just,
But he already
it's your
acknowledged
witness, you
it.
gotta like.
He didn't say that.
But he
I asked
disagreed
him
to
no
it.
question that he
He's
says that.
gotta be the one that says it. You can't just testify, just tell him to say it next time.
Damn it, Doc.
You're just a shitty lawyer.
Ooh.
You
Play ball like a girl.
I remember to object to opposing counsel's stupid states.
Sustained.
At your audience.
Reese's biological mom died from kidney failure, right?
She had kidney failure when she died, yes.
So when Reese's mother died, she had kidney failure.
Yeah.
Okay. Reese has the same genetic defect as his mom, right?
Yes.
That's called PKD.
He has a genetic defect predisposition to PKD,
Yeah.
yes.
PKD causes causes kidney failure because cysts start growing on the kidneys, right?
Yes.
And Reese's biological mother died after cysts grew on her kidneys, eventually leading to kidney failure.
I don't know the particulars of why Reese's mother died or not.
Okay.
I just know she had kidney failure and she died.
Dr. Sabbath, if the PKD gene manifests itself in Reese, it's very likely to have to get a kidney transplant, right?
It's highly likely, yes, that he will have to get a kidney transplant.
So if he has to get a kidney transplant, that means he has to go into a donation waiting list, right?
Yes, he will.
But Reese is also a past transplant giver.
That's
Right.
correct.
That's correct.
A donor, Yes.
And as a past donor, that accelerates him somewhat on the transplant waiting list.
Right. He'll only have to wait 6 months as opposed to 5 to 7 years.
I'm reading off his thing.
Maybe not.
I was gonna say, are you arguing for our side or his side?
I don't know. This is Sloan Slab. I'm still not over.
He's still drunk.
Still hungover, we're still drunk.
He was nervous.
My brain is on shutdown today. This says Sloan Sabbath Cross. You reviewed Don Keeper's deposition, forming your opinion, didn't you?
I did.
And in that deposition, you learned, and through recent blood work, you learned that Reese has type O blood, right?
That's correct. Yes.
And type O blood is the universal
Donor.
donor,
Yes.
correct? Meaning that all the variables aside, anyone with type O blood can give blood and organs any other blood type, right?
That's right. Yes.
But the inverse isn't true, is it, doctor?
No, it's not.
Means that means that type O blood can only receive blood or organs from type O blood, right?
That's right.
So that's very limiting for Reese, isn't it?
To some extent.
Dr. Sabbath, you also used Reese Lansing's past blood workups in order to arrive at your conclusions, didn't you?
I did.
Did you or did you not see that Reese's GFR, creatinine levels, and cholesterol levels were at some point in time at the limits of or beyond their ideal bounds?
I did.
And such indicators can be, or such measurements can show potential kidney dysfunction, can't they?
They can, but I don't think that that's an accurate representation of what's happening here.
But you would agree with me that those higher levels are signs or indicators that something could happen in the future, right?
Could happen, yes.
And that something could be him contracting kidney disease, right?
It could happen, yes.
Because he has a PKD genetic defect, right?
Yes.
And just because all of these levels normalized when he was 16, that still doesn't mean that he won't develop PKD, right?
Right. Doesn't mean he won't.
It still means that Reese is in danger of developing kidney disease, right?
I don't think it's likely.
You don't think it's likely.
I don't think it's likely, no.
But do you have any way of knowing for certain?
No, I don't.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
Yes, right.
Dr. Sabbath,
Yes.
why would Reese's blood levels or physiologic markers in his blood levels for GFR, creatinine, and cholesterol, why would they be elevated?
Well, several factors can contribute to this. Stress, for one, is a huge contributor to those kinds of levels, especially cholesterol.
In particular to Reese, what kinds of stressors could affect him?
You have to remember the time that he had those high elevated levels, especially cholesterol and GFR, or his lower GFR. He was 13 years old and just beginning college. 13 years old, beginning college. It's a huge stressor in anybody's life, much less than 13-year-olds.
And how would a stressor like that affect his genetic markers or physiologic markers like these?
Well, for his cholesterol, it would make it go sky high, which his cholesterol was sky high at that time, and also could impact the function of his kidneys.
Dr. Sabbath, what is the amount of money that you believe Reese Lansing will require?
That I believe, in my opinion,
Yes.
0.
Why?
Because he's a perfectly healthy kid. He shows no signs of contracting kidney disease in the future. His values have all normalized, and as of right now, he is medically cleared to do whatever he wants.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
It's my step down.
You were at 19 for your direct.
Shoot.
Wrong.
Anything further from the defense?
That was you.
Yeah, and I seriously thought about not asking all those questions about like.
I was just
back
focus
some
on the
data
ones he
and all that.
disagrees on the board. Why do we have to go through every single one? Now, what do you disagree about on this chart?
Yeah. Well, the only one that he doesn't disagree with is that one.
None.
You know, and we can speed that up. Like I was trying to do that from memory and I wasn't like that with it.
Well, I was gonna say, last time you were supposed to say 19 minutes.
Yeah.
was it?
No, I think it was 17.
No, it is good.
But what I was thinking about leaving out was all the like, did you have sufficient facts and data? As soon as I asked him that last question about like board certifications, I just want to be like, Your Honor, pursuant to stipulations 11, 14, and 15, and based on the foundation testimony we've just laid, we ask that he be entered in as an expert in nephrology and life care planning. I mean, since it's already, since the stipulation says
I didn't know this, and maybe I'm just
That-
like turning you to.
I mean, that's only what, 3 questions?
yeah, but I mean, that might be a minute.
That was either shoulder.
I mean, I might be splitting hairs, but still.
And, there's some, it's stuff in creative.
I guess email us your information.
And I mean, I think the like transition with entering evidence would probably be a little bit better as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of fast.
Uh,
I think. What else you got?
Stand on the jury box.
Over there?
Yep.
Oh man, see.
Okay. You're not necessarily attention on direct evidence.
Yeah, because the theory is one, you want the jury looking at the witness, and 2, if you're standing out there, a witness is more likely to look in the jury's direction.
Yeah.
So that's why you want to see it on there. One thing, and I also noticed this when you did your opening, and I know today's the first day of notification, but it's just something just to be aware of for future reference. When you think, you look down. So just, I mean, you know, like, well, like I was.
Which is better than making like an awkward face or something.
Yeah, or like I was like up and to the right, but it's just something, you know, just be aware of it and try not to.
I did that in the video as a friend.
I was thinking about this one.
Or on that, don't turn your back to the jury.
Yeah, I did the same thing with trying to do evidence stuff too. And I was like, oh, you know, but
They don't want to see your ass.
For nephrology follow-up, blood work analysis, and dietitian, whether he had 1 kidney or 2 kidneys, he would have to have regular follow-ups, just like a checkup with a doctor. He would have to have regular blood work like he was doing already. And it's suggested that he would probably need a dietitian because he is already predisposed to this.
you know what else you
So
can
these
say
are things that
when they ask
weren't
you about
results of him getting an unauthorized surgery. These are numbers that just come along with him being a PKD carrier.
You can revert his kidney function.
You know what I
You
mean?
can,
Yeah.
you can say that
And I feel like he
even
can
though
point
he's
that
had a
out and
kidney
be like,
removed, that
Dr.
the
Spears
second
listening
kidney
thinks that whether he has 1 kidney or 2,
occurs
you would have to go through because he's a PKD
because you
carrier.
know
These
that
are
when
because of or a result of like proximate cause kind of talk
yeah,
of
exactly.
the unauthorized surgery. These are just a matter of good practice for somebody who's a carrier of PKD.
Yeah. I think
Did you guys hear that? No.
I usually think fiddle with the bottom.
Yeah.
That's not being back. Some great plans.
But yeah, I think that's a good point. Ben, did you hear that?
What?
You guys both didn't hear it kind of. Okay, ready? Nephrology follow-up, blood work analysis, and dietitian. Whether the kid had 1 kidney or 2, those are just things that are good practice for a carrier of PKD. They're not a result of his unauthorized surgery. He's a carrier of PKD, therefore he's going to have to go to nephrology follow-ups. He's going to have blood work, and it's probably good practice to have a dietitian because of it. So I think to talk about Dr. Skinner's throwing out numbers that would have been good practice for him prior to the surgery ever occurring.
Wouldn't the whole thing
Not
have
a
to
result.
happen?
Huh?
Wouldn't the whole thing have to happen? Regardless?
I mean, yeah, even though without it, he may
Well,
still be
I mean, it may be more affected now, but that's where the argument comes in. He's probably more likely now to have dialysis and things like that because he has 1 less kidney.
yeah,
But nephrology follow-ups, blood work,
If
and
he's-
dietitian.
if he's got the disease and he's got 2, that means he might get the disease on both kidneys and need 2 kidneys and not just 1.
That's true, but if you just know you're a carrier, even before you become symptomatic, from the age of 1, this guy was following these numbers because he was going to, you know what I mean?
And it's like, so,
It's just good practice with somebody who has this gene.
and the cost, even if he does have to go to nephrology more often, the cost should only be like the difference. So if he was already going 3 times and now he goes 5, it should be on the hook for 5. I'm just saying, I don't know that.
He was getting blood work analysis done, not as often, but he was getting it done.
But they don't say anything about him, like his parents never told him that he had the disease, so we can assume from that he wasn't going to nephrology, he wasn't going to like counseling for this.
Yeah, as an adult, if he doesn't know it, he's not gonna continue to do it.
But he does know about it
That's
now.
the parent's problem.
Yeah.
So, but it's also, even then, it's all, I mean,
But I could ask that of him now. Now
So I
that you
think
know
that-
you have this condition, are you gonna go visit your nephrologist?
because
Of
of that, I
course.
don't think you should ask about it, I think you should just bring it up later, bring it up in close.
Okay.
I think if you ask about it, you could lose on a speculation argument or objection. I really, I think
You
the-
still gotta get that point in though in evidence that he needed
Well, you
anyway.
get the point by saying, look at the,
I think you need to ask the expert about that. Don't ask Freeze.
So what's the question?
Because otherwise you're making it, because otherwise.
Why would he
Are
need it?
these necessary because of the unauthorized surgery? No, these are good practices with a person who is a carrier of a
that's fair,
gene.
Yeah,
that's a good
That's
question.
what, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
You know?
Don't, yeah, do it in the hypothetical, don't do it in the
Yeah.
threes.
Are these, is blood work analysis necessary because of an unauthorized surgery? No, they're good practice for a person with EKD.
So yeah, I'll say all that.
And I'm just gonna ask him, why would he need that? And then he can say, well, he would need these anyway, as
See, but the
preventative
point now that
screening.
these aren't a result of an unauthorized surgery, so they're a result of him being a carrier of the gene. Is
Well, I
the
can-
difference.
I know, but so if I ask him why, then I can just, how would this surgery, or how would the surgery
It's just
process
like
work?
wave after
He's
wave.
good. They wouldn't, you would need it anyway.
Do you like that or more hypothetical?
This my pants, I'm getting.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
what did you say?
So if I just ask him, inpatient treatments and physician visits, or, what would he need just generally because he's a carrier? He can say nephrology, blood work, and dietitian. Because he's not gonna need dialysis, he's not symptomatic with it. And then, why would he need these? Because these are good, because he has this, these are good ways to monitor his health in even, to make sure that he doesn't get it. How would the current surgery that we're in court for, how would that affect these? They wouldn't, he would need them anyway.
I think both ways are fine. I'm leaning towards the hypothetical. Just because one, since you're already running a little long, hypothetical is one question, that's 3.
Yeah.
And I think a hypothetical is a little bit safer with the not being outside the packet.
Okay,
You know,
alright.
I get really paranoid about like some of your questions last say. I mean, I don't think it happens. I don't know. I didn't go last year, but yeah. But real quick, Ben, other feedback. When you hand in witness exhibits, you start with, like, what is this?
Yeah.
Ask first if they recognize what it is.
Okay.
My advice is just, so kind of like I told Dakota earlier, you did a good job with remembering to say, like, pursuant to stipulation 13, just kind of do a brief summary of what